Have you ever disappeared from a man's life without a word of warning, no messages, no calls, and wondered what he would do? Sometimes, silence is the strongest statement. It forces both to face the truth, who really needs whom, and who is just used to the other's presence. If you think he will quickly forget, stop right there. Because in reality, inside a man when you go silent is a whole complex emotional journey, from subjectivity, confusion, to moments of realizing the lost value. Today, I want to dive deep into the male psyche with you to understand clearly. When a woman stops contacting, what does a man go through, and what must he do if he wants to keep what is inherently most precious? 1. Psychological cause. When the ego is challenged. When a man is used to your presence, he easily falls into a false belief that you will always be there. This belief is unspoken but silently exists in the subconscious of many people. They assume that the affection you give them is unconditional. And when this lasts, they begin to take your care for granted. Therefore, when you choose silence, the first thing he sometimes feels is relief. Not because you are a burden, but because he thinks, she must be busy, she will get back to me. This feeling is like when you take off a thick winter coat. At first it feels comfortable, but then the cold starts to seep into every layer of skin. Your silence is that cold. At first, he doesn't notice, but over time, it seeps deeper into his mind, making him start to worry. Why hasn't she messaged? Did I do something wrong? At this stage, his ego is challenged. It has to struggle with a new emotion, the fear of loss. And at this moment, your value in his eyes begins to rise, not because you are playing the game of leave to be loved more, but because he realizes you are no longer in the position of always belonging to him. 2. Reasons from the past. When memories become a test after days of confusion, he enters the observation phase. He quietly watches your stories, accidentally likes an old photo, or asks mutual friends about you. He doesn't want to contact you directly for fear of rejection, but curiosity drives him to find a way to follow you from afar. And then memories begin to flood back. He remembers how you comforted him when he was down. Remembers the times you smiled despite being tired, just to make him feel at ease. Remembers the peaceful feeling of always knowing you were there. Those images make him wonder, did I underestimate her? Did I take that care for granted? If before he missed chances to appreciate you, now your absence is the clearest reflection of that loss. There are 2 types of men at this stage. Those mature enough will start to think seriously, look for reasons within themselves, and want to make amends. Those controlled by their ego will choose to silently withdraw, pretending they are fine, even though deep inside they know they have lost something special. 3. The decisive moment. This is when the man must face the question, will I take action or accept losing her? If he truly wants you back, there will be a final effort. A long message explaining everything. An unexpected call in the middle of the night, or even showing up in person. But not every effort comes from genuine love. Sometimes, it's just the fear of losing a familiar comfort zone. Therefore, you need to be clear-headed enough to distinguish, is he coming back for you, or just because he's not used to the feeling of being left behind? If you still want to give a chance, remember, the standards must be higher than before. A relationship that once made you choose silence cannot continue in the same way. If you have decided to close the chapter, do so calmly. Because at this point, your silence is no longer an empty space, but a shield protecting your heart. Conclusion. When a woman stops communicating, it is not a trick, but a clear message. That her affection is a gift, not a given. That her presence is a choice, not an obligation. And that everyone needs to learn to appreciate before everything disappears. If you are in love, ask yourself, are you her choice or just her habit? And if one day you have to choose silence, remember, silence is not to punish, but to protect. Thank you for listening. If you have ever loved someone like that, be patient. And don't forget to subscribe to the Reflection channel to hear more about the things men don't say, but always want women to understand.